Hello, dear listeners. Welcome to another Monday, which means another single story video for you. The name of the story is Don't Open Future Dated Emails Promising Money. This is another fantastic story from No Sleep, and I will say right now, much like the other story that I did, this does have a slight content warning. There's a little bit of harsh language beyond that, a little bit of graphic imagery. I will not be censoring this story. I would much rather keep it integral. I would much rather let the story maintain its integrity and not modify it for the public. I firmly believe art should maintain its integrity as such. So, that said, here is the story, Don't Open Future Dated Emails Promising Money, from the subreddit No Sleep. I hope you guys like it. Enjoy. I used to work in loss prevention for a bank. I'm sharing this detail because I think it is relevant, as it taught me a lot about human psychology. In particular, I learned about the power of wishful thinking, and I do not mean that as a positive. What I mean is that we will always find ways to justify why we deserve more than we actually do. If somebody gets an extra $40 out of an ATM, it is to make up for those past overdraft fees. If somebody took their grandmother's card, it's fine because their grandmother is holding out on them. Little do they realize their grandmother lives Social Security check to Social Security check, and paying for a new phone will likely get her heat shut off. But all this to say, I should have known better than to justify the good things happening to me. When I got an email that said, "Follow these instructions and you will be well compensated," I should have ignored and deleted it. The date automatically made me think somebody had hacked my account. It had the date 12/12/2019, and I had received it on 12/01/2019. All that aside, despite my training, my experience, my common sense, I opened it. It simply gave me a time and a place, a bar, and some Keno numbers to place money on. I'm ashamed to say I was intrigued. I was hooked by the absurdity of it. First of all, I was unemployed and not able to go back to my old bank job, since I had gotten in the habit of just paying out cases without really documenting any of the evidence. I mean, it was the bank's money, and the truth was usually too depressing to look into. So yeah, I gave a lot of people $200 and $400 back without asking questions or making them file police reports against their relatives. So, like I said, I've been unemployed, depressed, and single. My friends have been supportive, but they also have been busy with work or going out to places where I just can't afford. I've been alone, stir-crazy, anxious, and broke. But I had a few bucks, and even if I instantly lost them, it would feel good to have a beer and be angry for a while at an internet prank. Angry was better than depressed. I arrived at a dive bar in the middle of the day. Nobody really there, except for a couple day-drinking regulars. I sat down, got myself a beer, and filled in the numbers in my email onto the Keno ticket. I was shocked when 8 numbers matched, and I was given $150 straight from the register. Before you know it, I had blown $40 of that on a shitty lunch and some beer and shots. I wobbled home full and buzzed, checking my phone every few seconds, praying I would get another batch of lucky numbers. As I started to sober up and settle back into my default state of anxiety, I could not help but doubt this would ever happen again. I started to doubt it had even happened in the first place. I had a strong impulse to just go gamble the rest of my money and a self-destructive need to return to the status quo. Instead, I watched some self-help YouTube videos and went to bed early. The next day, I had awoken to another email. Well, it was more like the original email had been replaced. It was still my first email, with my normal email showing dates, where 10 days earlier with subjects like unemployment claim denied and thank you for your interest in our company. I didn't even open the other emails. I went straight for the much more promising one with the future date. It read as follows. Thank you for taking a leap of faith and accepting our gift. You have been identified as a person who is hopeful, generous, and believes in helping others. While you might be experiencing difficult times, we would like to give you a chance to provide for yourself while providing for others. With our technology, the concept of earning money is obsolete. It is simply a matter of collecting it and sharing it. If you follow our instructions and help us spread cheer, we will make sure you are well provided for. Here are your lucky numbers for the day. I was given the address and times for 2 other bars, and I hit 8 numbers on each of them, netting $300. This shit made no sense, but it was real and it was happening to me. The following day, I had another email. 9 days in the future from the more depressing emails about medical appointments I couldn't attend and job offers for minimum wage temp work. The instructions were simple. It said there was an envelope in my mailbox full of money. I was not to open it under any circumstances, but instead deliver it to the provided address of somebody in need. Then at the bottom were 2 more lucky numbers with 2 more bars for me to visit. As instructed, I delivered the envelope without examining it and collected my earnings. It was funny. I didn't care how much money was in the package. I didn't feel greedy. I was genuinely grateful and wanted others to be gifted this free money too. I even gave $20 to some homeless guy on my way home. Over the next few days, I delivered a few more packages at the very specific times and places. By then, I had netted another $1,200 in small winnings, and while I wasn't rich, I was super happy. Hell, I was ecstatic when receiving the assignment to deliver a series of meals to the homeless. I handed out the wrapped sandwiches delivered to my door in a cooler and made small talk, telling them that I represented an anonymous charity and I hoped I could do more for their community in the future. I collected another $300 from bars I had never been to before, had my customary half-dozen drinks, and stumbled home full of pride and beer. On 12/10/2019, I received another future email, still dated 12/12 like the rest. The fact that I was approaching the future date gave me a bit of an anxious feeling. It was above a few emails from dating sites, since I had regained the confidence of maybe going out on a date. This email said I had to hand deliver a package to a guy staying at a hotel, and as usual, I would find the package on my porch. It was very specific about the hand delivery part at exactly 12:04 p.m. I went downtown wearing a button-down shirt and slacks since it was a really fancy place and I didn't want to stand out too much. Also, I was going to meet a girl later on. We had been texting back and forth all morning. While I waited in the lobby, my phone started to buzz, and I asked the receptionist to hold the package while I went outside to talk to the girl. When I picked up, my date apologized, saying something had come up, but she wanted me to understand she was not ghosting me and that she did really want to meet me. She said she was excited to go out with somebody who shared her interest in charity work. Just then, I heard a loud boom and got knocked down hard, leaving me seeing stars and disoriented. My ears were in pain, but I was certainly not deaf since I could hear dozens of car alarms going off and some screams. As I turned back, I saw there was black smoke spewing out of the lobby, as though a bomb had gone off. A bomb had gone off. A bomb that I just hand-delivered. I got a surge of fear and adrenaline. My legs were wobbly and my vision was not quite right either, as things seemed to move and shake before my eyes. In hindsight, I was suffering a mild concussion and was probably having a panic attack, but I would not get that clarity until later in the night. I skipped the bars, no longer giving a damn about my lucky numbers. I just sat at home and watched the news in a state of shock. The news didn't help much. They speculated if it was a terrorist attack, and they pointed out that one of the victims was a lawyer turned congressman who was involved in regulating tech companies. But that wasn't the only bad news. There was also a story about several homeless people being found dead. And while the cause of death was unknown, they assumed it was a bad batch of heroin. I knew better. I knew that they had been poisoned. Just then, I got another email. 12/12/2019. Severance information. We regretfully must inform you that your services will no longer be needed. We appreciate what you have done to help us in our agenda of eradicating poverty, but by failing to follow our delivery instructions, we can no longer trust you with any future tasks. Still, we are appreciative of everything you have done, and another charity worker will be delivering a severance package to you. If we are unable to locate you, we will be glad to deliver the severance package to a friend or relative of our choosing. Please respect our privacy and do not disclose the details of our interactions as per the confidentiality paragraph you implicitly agreed to when you started making deliveries for us. We hope you remain as invested as we are in seeing our vision for a better future becoming a reality. So there you have it. I've left the details somewhat vague, and I don't expect you to believe me, and I really don't know if I should wait for the delivery or not. If I am afraid of the delivery, then I'm admitting to myself that I'm a coward who would pass my fate off to a friend or relative. No, it's taking all of my will to keep up this streak of wishful thinking. It's best to stay home and wait. Either way, I'm sure I'm going to get what I deserve. Well, there you have it, dear listener. How about that twist of fate? I love how the author ended that story with a very vague and open sentence. Honestly, love it more than I can possibly explain. That said, I hope you also loved it, and if you did, please consider liking, subscribing, leaving a comment. I would love to hear from you, and checking out the source in the video description below. I link to all the sources. That said, I hope you are ready for more videos to come later this week, as I post on Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, and I hope to stick with that schedule as much as I can. You can also find me on Twitter if you have any questions or would like to message me or send me something to narrate. My Twitter handle is @RavensDreamYT. I post randomly, just so you know. That all out of the way, I hope you all have a fantastic day, weekend, week, night, morning, whatever it is where you are, and I hope to see you in the next video. But until then, sleep well.